Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR Mac and Me. My name's TJ. In this segment, we're not going to rant about the Trump verdict, that situation. Only time will show us exactly how that whole scenario is going to play out. But in this segment, I'd like to talk about something unrelated. It involves sports. And Mac, for those unaware, Mac is the sports aficionado. I am but a lay person on all matters concerning sports. But I saw a news article that just kind of fired me up because while it involves a sports team, professional sports, it takes a wicked swerve into politics and life, I guess. But it involves Caitlin Clark. And for those unaware, and I'd be surprised, I suppose there's some out there, but most people know who Caitlin Clark is. She's the one that she graduated from Iowa Hawkeyes, and she's regarded as one of the greatest collegiate players of all time.
Men and women.
Yeah, and so she was first round draft. She might have been the top draft.
She was.
Let me see if I can get
the Indiana Fever of the WNBA.
Yeah, the Indiana Fever. Okay. Well, just recently, some days ago, there was a game between the Indiana Fever, and during this game, one of the Chicago Sky players, and it sounds like this person could be their star. Okay. A Kennedy Carter. And this is the first I've ever heard of her because, like I said, unlike Mac, I'm not a sports aficionado.
Well, I understand that anyone who is a sports aficionado, which I am not, but you like to say that in jest, but they don't watch the WNBA because no one much cares about women's basketball. That league wouldn't even exist if it weren't subsidized.
Spoken like a true sports aficionado.
Yes, mm-hmm.
Anyways,
the high road in sports terms.
Okay. During the course of the game, Kennedy Clark, I believe, had made a basket. And of course, you know, if you're familiar with how basketball is played, you know, the team makes a basket and they kind of fall back to their assigned defensive position or assignments. And so, you know, it becomes Indiana Fever's ball. And I don't know who threw the inbound under the basket, but they went to throw it to Caitlin Clark, and Kennedy Carter, instead of falling back court, you know, hung around.
Which she's not obligated to do. You can press.
Yeah, you can press. She outright shoved Caitlin Clark to the ground. You know, fights have started out for less.
If you did this, and it should have started one, actually. I'll tell you, back in the old days with the Bad Boy Pistons, had someone done that to Joe Dumars or Isaiah Thomas? But that's up to her teammates who may feel the same way about her.
Well, and upon this,
Caitlin Clark.
Upon this Kennedy Carter, basically shoving Caitlin Clark to the ground. And she did hit the floor, okay? That's how hard of a shove it was. She hit the floor.
She did what they call a hip check.
Yeah. The whole Chicago bench stood in applause, okay?
Well, it's because we have a black subculture, and this is how they operate. This is their belief system. If someone looks at you the wrong way, well, then now you get to bust a cap in their ass. We've talked about this a number of times. Violence is their first response to everything, and it's a black subculture norm to do this kind of things.
Well, and you know what? Shame on me for overlooking this little piece of the detail. Caitlin Clark is white. Okay.
Yeah.
Shame
and
on me.
She's resented because of their black supremacy attitude in this league.
I mean, and what you saw, because this hip check pushing her to the floor. It's making the rounds on the internet. It is not hard to find, okay? And right. I mean, if all you got to do is do a search on either one of them, and that video is going to be like one of the first ones to pop up. Right. But
you know what? If you do that at Walmart or at McDonald's or wherever you might be in public, if you were to do that to a person, you might go to jail for an assault. And I know Caitlin Clark doesn't want to come off like a crybaby wimp, but you know what? Unless she's ready to have a whole lot more of this, she better, and worse, she might want to file an assault charge against this thug. Because she says something to her, and I'm not a lip reader, and I don't know what she said, but it looked like the word bitch was used before she made contact with her and knocked her to the floor.
Yeah, the lip readers are saying that came out of her mouth right second before the hip check.
Well, if you watch the video, you can see it. And I don't know that I'll be able to include the video in the segment. If I can, I will. And if that would come right now, if I can find it. But this is it's racial intimidation.
Well, my first thought was hood thuggery. Okay, hood thuggery.
Yep.
Indiana did win by 1 point, so.
Yeah, and they're not a very good team, which is why she got drafted.
No, they're not. I looked at their record.
Well, they're 2-8 now with that win.
Yeah,
that's why they had the number one.
I had heard a few weeks back that, and I don't know the entire scoop, and again, I'm at best a fair weather fan when it comes to sports. So I was hearing all sorts of stuff about how this Caitlin Clark was almost being taken advantage of because she is who she is. And I guess I'm dancing around the whole race issue. But
we know it can't be race because blacks can't be racist. Everyone knows that because they don't have the power. I'd like to know who added that caveat to a definition of a word. A priest has to be a thug.
I saw the news article, and then when I saw the clip, I was like, man, and you know what? I don't know what she's like. I mean, I don't know if she's done anything in the past to deserve this kind of treatment.
Here's the thing: you don't know what's being said during the game. I mean, is she trash talking? And Larry Bird, one of the greatest players ever. People say he was the worst trash talker there ever was. He'd say to, I remember he said to John Sally, who was going to guard him once, "Oh, you're guarding me? Aren't they going to give you any help?" And he'd say, "I'm going to do this, that, and the other, and then do it. I'm going to run over to the corner. I'm going to spin around. I'm going to shoot a three right in your face." And then he would do it. They all laugh about it now, but at the time he was hated. Isaiah Thomas, the Pistons' all-time great, made racist comments about nobody would care about Larry Bird unless he were white. Says a lot more about Isaiah Thomas than it ever did Larry Bird.
Anyways, I was just compelled to share my thoughts on this Caitlin Clark situation. I just...
Well, it was said by this Jameel, I can't remember her last name. She's on ESPN. She's a blatant racist. I mean, if she were white, she would be sitting there in Klan robes. That's how bad this chick is. She's such a blatant racist. And she said the only reason anyone's paying attention to Caitlin Clark is she's white and pretty. And I've seen pictures of Caitlin Clark, and I don't get the pretty part. She certainly is white. And, and you know what? If she weren't the all-time leading scorer in collegiate basketball for both men and women, and that's a little bit of a misnomer because Pete Maravich never had the opportunity to shoot three-pointers. But hey, she made the shots. You play in the time you're in. You play under the rules that they are. So it is what it is.
Well, she sounds like the real thing from what a little bit I've read about her, and I don't know, it might be to her advantage to start bulking up because I'll tell you what. She's going to end up with a broken leg, a broken arm, a broken nose, something. And I'm telling you,
the black subculture will be fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to get mugged out there on the court, so she better start bulking up.
Well, I mean, I would be looking to, if I were the Indiana Fever, I think I might be looking for a transgender woman enforcer for her. If you put your hands on Caitlin Clark, this woman is going to snap you in half. Maybe that's a proper response. If we're gonna play by thug rules, maybe we should have thugs out there of their own.
Yep, for sure, for sure. So that's all I got on this. Any further? I like that enforcer. I like thought.
Well, that's what happens in hockey. Put
Yeah.
your hands on Steve Yzerman or Sergei Fedorov, and Joe Kosher pays you a visit, and
Yeah.
it's not good for you.
Yep. All right. We'll call this one a wrap. Thanks everyone for your support. And just a heads up, I will be out of town next week. As I like to say comically, I'll be down in Tennessee, the land of orange. Orange and white is the color for the Tennessee Volunteers. Okay. So we'll probably be taking the next week off. So, and we'll catch you all when I get back. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.